and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just going to play around with makeup, and I'm just going to have you guys watch me do it. I don't really have too much of a game plan going on. I've been playing around with more like Halloween makeup, so that may be the direction we go in. I really don't know. I don't have any makeup on. I do have my brows on just because it's eyebrows. Yeah, everyone does their eyebrows differently. If you guys want to see a video of how I do my eyebrows, I can totally do that for you, so just let me know. But I hope you enjoy the video. I'll probably do a voiceover if I can figure out how to do that, so here we go. First things first, I'm going to take the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer and I'm just going to place that on the eyelid. I use this as my eyeshadow primer slash my just concealer to conceal the eyelid. I don't really have an eyeshadow primer that I like more than I like the effect that the Shape Tape has for me, so I just use this one. Later on in the video, I will actually take the exact same concealer down farther, so conceal like you normally would if you were highlighting. So if you were following this tutorial, make sure that you are bringing it down a little bit farther because I will do that later on in the video and it just saves you an extra step. So just go ahead and blend that out and that will be our base. Next, I take the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation. It is the shade 207, so it is a little bit darker than my normal shade right now, but you're going to be a pumpkin, so it doesn't matter too much if your foundation's a little bit orange. If I could go back and do this again, I would just place the foundation all over my face because I will end up taking it farther onto the rest of my face, and then I would just conceal and highlight like I normally would with the Tarte Shape Tape. So if you want to do that route, it would save you some time. I just did it in sections because honestly I wasn't sure what my game plan was going to be for today's look. So that is a little hack for you. If you wanted to do that instead, you totally could. I then took the ever so messy Coty Airspun and I just set my foundation. I didn't really take it onto the concealer at all just because that kind of sets itself, and then I just further blended things together to make it look a little bit more seamless. And moving back to the eyes, I took the Crown palette and I just used a transitional shade. So this is kind of like an orangey brown. It's just a warm tone brown that I took on the crease, and I just made sure to really blend this out. Zoom! And I kind of blew this out a little bit so it kind of went farther up towards the brow bone than where I typically would take it. But since we are doing Halloween makeup, you can kind of get a little bit more crazy with it. So I did take this pretty high up and I built it up quite a lot. And using that same Crown palette, I'm just taking a little bit darker of a shade. It's still a very warm toned brown, and I'm just placing that directly in the crease. So this one is just focused a little bit closer to the lid and less towards the brow bone, if that makes sense. And what this shade does for us is it just gives us a little bit more definition in the eyes. And it makes the eyes seem a little bit more deep set, which I have very hooded eyes, so that's kind of the look that I go for, is to make them look more deep set than what they are. But after that, I am going to be taking the Tarte Shape Tape again, and I'm going to be doing a cut crease. So I just take that onto the back of my hand, and then I will place it onto the lid and create a cut crease on there. I then grabbed the BoxyCharm and Pure Cosmetics little collaboration they did together, that palette, and I took the shade Charmer on there, And this was without any Fix Plus or the brush bring wet at all, and I just placed that directly on top of the wet concealer, and it just made the color pop like crazy. I always love doing this. This is something that I pretty much do with all of my looks. I rarely ever get my brush wet anymore. I just place it on top of wet concealer, and it gives it a very similar effect. I then went back to the Crown Beauty palette, and I just took, again, a slightly darker, really warm tone brown, and I just placed that on the outer corner of the eye. Again, this just gives more definition, and it also gives the appearance of larger eyes by focusing the darker colors on the outer side of the eye, and then the inside is very light. So I do that a lot with all of my looks as well. I then just took a blending brush that I was using previously, and I just ran through the eye look just to make sure that it was nice and blended together and seamless the way that I wanted it to look. I then went ahead and curled my eyelashes and then applied about 2 coats of mascara. I originally was not planning on putting falsies on. At the very end, I ended up changing my mind and put some on. So if you were to want to put falsies on, I would recommend not curling your eyelashes. It does make it a little bit more difficult to apply the lashes, at least for me. So if you have a hard time with it, try not curling your lashes and placing the falsies on and see if that helps you out at all. I then took the lightest brown that we used in the very beginning and I ran that underneath my lash line, and then I took a slightly darker brown and same thing, I just ran it underneath the lash line just to make sure that it didn't look completely bare. I did want to have a little bit of something there but nothing too crazy. So I just did that and then applied a coat of mascara, and the eyes are pretty much set. At this point, I did already put my foundation on. I applied it to the rest of my face, and I did set it with that same powder that I had earlier. I am now taking the Pretty Vulgar The Ink eyeliner in Blacklist, and I am using that to kind of map out where I'm wanting everything to go. So I put it all over my lips, and then I trace it up towards my ears just to get like the outline of the mouth that I'm wanting. And then I do place some of that on my nose as well. I also wanted to say that if you do have eyeliner at home, I would recommend using that over Halloween makeup. All the Halloween makeup that I have purchased, I have been very disappointed in. I feel like it's not very opaque. There have been a couple things that I've come across, but I have not found a black Halloween makeup that I like more than this eyeliner. So, if you are needing black for any Halloween makeup, just grab some eyeliner. It works so much better in my opinion. I know the Maybelline gel eyeliner that comes in a pod at the drugstore is super nice, so you could always check that one out, and it's also very affordable. So I pretty much just applied the black to my nose, and I kind of tried to make it into a triangle motion. And then right here I am kind of following a picture at this point, so I'm following what she's doing, but I'm just kind of making the outline of the mouth as well as making some of the triangles and the squares for the teeth as well. So I would suggest looking at some pictures for this. That's definitely helped me out a lot with all of my Halloween makeup that I've been doing. So make sure to find some inspiration out there. It definitely does help. And then once you have everything outlined, I just took a bigger brush and I went ahead and filled everything in that I needed to. And then once I got closer to the edges, I took that smaller brush again and just did a little bit more of detail work just to make sure that I didn't go outside the lines. It definitely did help me out to use a smaller brush in the corners as well. I then realized that I wanted to make a distinct line where the pumpkin part would be versus where the normal human side would be, as I would call it. And then I did go ahead and put some lines on the face. They aren't perfect. I did try to make them as even as possible, but they definitely didn't turn out 100% even. So just do your best with these. I put one in the center and then I put a couple lines on the side. I'm sorry about the giant jump right here. My camera cut off and I didn't even notice it. I did take an orange eyeshadow and I just filled in the blank spaces, so that's what I did next. Next is the fun part. I took these jewels that I got from, I believe, Michael's or Hobby Lobby. They were super cheap. And I just grabbed some eyelash glue that I had laying around and I just placed them on the line that we created to show the distinction between the pumpkin and the human. So I just placed a dot of eyelash glue and then placed the jewel right on top of that, and I lined the little line that we created up there. And that's what it looks like with all of the jewels on. I think it turned out super cool. Right here, I'm just kind of blackening up the spots again that we did earlier. I just wanted it to be really, really dark. I actually go in with the eyeliner and then I'll go in with a black eyeshadow on the very top just to make it as dark as we possibly can. I think it definitely gives the effect of it being an actual carving out if it's really dark, so I just did my best to make sure it was as black as possible. I did then take the lines a little bit farther down and also take the eyeshadow a little bit farther down just to make sure that it didn't stop right at the face. I just did that pretty much for pictures just to make the pictures look a little bit more, I don't know, realistic, if you can say that this is realistic. And then I also took some false lashes and applied them to my eyes. I wasn't going to do this like I mentioned earlier, but I just felt like it was missing something, so I decided to add a little bit more drama and put some false lashes on. Alright guys, well this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. It was kind of fun just like sitting here watching videos and creating something. I was looking at a picture, which I guess I can show you guys which one I was going for. I just followed kind of her outline that she did for the mouth because I thought her outline looked good, so. And I didn't want this one to be like a super scary pumpkin. I wanted it to be more of like a little kid carving pumpkin. So that is kind of who I followed to do the mouth part of it. And then I pretty much took the bottom half of what she did and just created that, and then I kept the eyes kind of simple and I put some jewels on there. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Also let me know of any future videos you want to see from me. I know I'm starting my Halloween series really early, but I have just been really inspired to just play with makeup, do some different stuff than just beauty makeup, and I have been loving it. So let me know if there's any costumes you want to see from me or any Halloween makeup. That would be so cool if you guys would let me know. I am planning on doing a couple more in my brain. I have some going on in there, so I will make sure to continue to do these if you guys want to see them. Make sure to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Bye!